Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here today with Acadiana standout Cameron George getting ready for his senior year. The Wreckin Rams trying to defend and repeat that state championship this past year against Destrehan, and Cam's one of the guys that is, as I mentioned, getting ready for his senior year and getting a lot of college love from schools all over the country. And so we're going to talk a lot about just kind of preparation as well as what some of those opportunities for the next steps after high school are looking like. But Cam, how's everything been going? We were just talking about it's been kind of strange times, but y'all have been able to stay pretty active. How have you and the family and the team been doing through these last few months?
Everything is doing well. We're just trying to maintain, as far as workouts, we have a limited amount of people in this group, but we're still able to get some good work in. So that's, the good thing about it, just trying to stay positive.
How has that kind of balance gone for you guys of, I think, coming off a state championship, y'all entered this offseason pretty focused still and hungry to not have a slip up coming off of that. A lot of teams can kind of get a little bit too satisfied, and talking to a few of y'all, I do not get the sense that was y'all's mindset at all. But how do you balance some of that excitement to go try and, prove yourselves again this year and stay among those top teams in the highest classification in Louisiana football for you and the senior group, knowing it's going to be your last go round, but y'all are also a smart bunch that knows you have to play things safe under these kind of weird circumstances. How has it been kind of balancing that eagerness to get the work in versus the knowledge that you have to kind of play things safe at times?
Well, I hear Coach McCullough, he really focuses on us not getting too arrogant, complacent. So, we continue to work hard. And as far as teammates, we have great leaders who continue to push us. We have guys that, continue to want us to continue to get better. So that's, the main thing. Just, we're not really, satisfied with, one state championship. We'd like to get another. So that's just the main thing.
Particularly you guys as kind of the veteran leaders, as the way you talk about it with the rest of the team. How do you sort of frame that? Just, I guess, meaning some teams will talk about the special nature of repeating. Some teams will try and put it completely behind them and just say, okay, what we did, that was great, but that's in the past now, and just sort of compartmentalize this as a completely new journey. How do y'all kind of view that dynamic?
Well, we look at it as, like you said, that was, last year. We're a new team. We have, a new mindset. It's just to continue to work hard. Put all the accolades and accomplishments to the side. Continue to get better. Get faster, stronger. To where we'd like to be at the end of the season.
For you personally, you're a guy that was such a huge part of that very stingy defense last year, and obviously colleges have taken notice. You've got 26 offers and some great offers from all over the country, really. Coming into this offseason, knowing it was your last offseason of high school and you're getting ready for that last ride with the Rams and also trying to continue building upon that foundation for the college level, what were some things that you kind of had in your mind that you really wanted to focus some of your energy and your training on as you continue to build out your game, build out your toolkit, so to speak?
Well, first I would say maybe, getting my body ready for, college level, sports. That's the main thing. And second, I would say I really focused on being more of a leader, to my team, be a positive influence to my younger teammates. So those are the things that I've been working on, since this is my last year.
Body-wise, we had you listed at, I think the last time we got measurement with Rivals was 6'2", 233, and you've bulked up to 245, put on 10 pounds so far this offseason. What has that routine looked like? What have been some of the things that you've done, whether it be some of the weight training or anything you do in diet or whatever you've done to continue to fill out and build that way?
Well, we have a new strength and conditioning coach, Coach Bellard at Acadiana. So, he's been, working us, pretty well. He's been trying to, get my body, where I need to be in order to, play at the level that I like to. And he's been, preparing me, for what it's like in college, and after that. So as far as, training, I've just been working different parts of the body, that I've never worked before, trying to balance out, sides that were stronger than the other or parts that were stronger than the other. So that was just the main thing.
How much do y'all talk about that aspect of just kind of the college readiness, particularly for you and maybe some of the other seniors? You're a guy that you played last season. It was mostly, based four-man front. You're on the end, hand in the ground, and you weren't an overpowering guy size-wise. Like, you're not a huge defensive end, but you were able to use your physicality to still overpower guys, regardless of the size of a tackle that you're working against. But it sounds like it was a pretty big focus for you to continue to build out that strength, not just to continue to be that much more of a force at the high school level, but for what it could mean for you in these years beyond.
Yeah, well, I just try to, use my, strength to my ability. Obviously I'm not the tallest guy in my position, but I try to use, my arms, my hands, my explosiveness. So I try to use that to my advantage whenever I'm going against bigger guys, stuff like that.
What do you feel like? I mean, I watch you do kind of from that role a lot of different things, watching the film and beating guys a lot of different ways, sometimes overpowering, as I mentioned, but sometimes just able to kind of get that quick move and get around and find that seam in the line and get into the backfield. What have you felt like thus far you've been most pleased with in your game that you kind of hang your hat on a little bit or feel like some of your biggest advantages when you go out there in a given matchup? Or does it probably to some degree kind of varies depending on who you're going against, I would guess.
Right. Well, I would definitely say my game that I, model myself after the most would be my pass rush. I really like to get after the quarterback. I feel like for my age, I have really good hands. I have, great leverage, great strength. But, I feel like rushing the passer is something that I can definitely be good at the next level.
Talking to some of the colleges, do they pretty much envision you staying in that same sort of end in a four-man front, or any of them looking at you in a linebacker type role in different schemes, or how has it been kind of varied from program to program depending on their scheme? What are those conversations like with the college coaches?
Well, most schools that have offered me actually play a 3-4 defense. So most of them would like me to play the jack outside linebacker position. And, some schools, like Navy, Army, Western Kentucky, they like me to play defensive end, stand up sometimes, be able to slant from different, alignments, stuff like that.
How do you feel about that sort of role potentially, an outside linebacker or standing up a little bit more on the end and doing some different things from the perimeter of those defenses if you end up at one of those schools?
Well, I definitely can see myself as an outside linebacker at the next level. So I feel like it's going to be a good transition for me. But as of right now, I've just been trying to, work on, drop backs, coverages, stuff like that.
How have you felt about some of that just in the work that you have been able to get in? Obviously, as we get back closer to normal routines, you'll get a chance to work on that stuff a lot more. But with the work you have been able to do thus far, how have you felt it's gone?
I feel like it's been going well. I've been able to work some of that with my coaches, some of my teammates. Just trying to get better at my footwork, like I said, dropping back in coverage, off the edge, stuff like that.
Whether it be a defensive player or, I mean, whoever, did you grow up having some kind of favorite players, whether local guys or college guys or pro guys that you always kind of gravitated towards and really looked at as that's my guy sort of thing or anything like that?
Well, over the years, I watched a lot of Khalil Mack Aaron Donald. I watched a lot of Jadeveon Clowney and some Dwight Freeney because, Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald, they're obviously not, the tallest D linemen, but like I do, they're able to use their hands, their arms, their length to their advantage, when going against bigger opponents. So that's something that I'm out on that game after.
Yeah, all those guys pretty good getting after passers from their respective sizes and places in that defensive front seven. Who have, in terms of the colleges, who have been some of the schools that you have heard from the most recently, most consistently? Because you do have a great offer list. You talk about a few Ivy Leagues, the service academies that you had mentioned a couple of, locally right there, the Cajuns, ULM up in North Louisiana, and a lot of the schools around the state with Nichols, McNeese, Southern, Grambling, Southeastern, out to South Alabama and Coastal Carolina, UTSA over there in San Antonio, who have been some of the schools that you communicate with the most, and how have some of those relationships gone?
The schools that hit me up the most, I would have to say, is UL, South Alabama, Army, Navy, Air Force, as well as UTSA. But as far as, communication has been well because, I'm able to have a great relationship with all of those schools. They, tell me that, if I was to go to that program, how, I could help them, how it would benefit me in the future. So that's, some of the main things that we talk about.
Are there any schools that have not yet offered that you hear from pretty consistently that they're not on that list at the moment, but their interest is pretty clear and their rapport is there, that you've had a chance to get to know the coaches and them get to know you?
Well, I've spoken to Boston College. I've spoken to Syracuse. I've spoken to Arkansas State, Houston, Tulane, and I've talked to Virginia a little bit.
Nice. You mentioned kind of some of the selling points that come from those schools. How much do the Cajuns try and talk to you about being that hometown guy and repping Lafayette beyond high school and at the next level?
Oh man, they talk to me about that a lot. They hit me up pretty much every week. Talk to me about how I fit well in their scheme. Me standing up at the outside linebacker position. They talk about my family being able to come watch the games. They talk about how much of a better player, and person and student that I could be, if I just go there. But I have a great relationship, with Coach Napier, some of the other coaches. So it's been real good with them.
I'm guessing some of those opportunities sound pretty intriguing for a Lafayette guy that is obviously shown a lot of pride in the area and the state, and really been. I've talked to you before about y'all's group, not just the Acadiana guys supporting one another in terms of Acadiana High, but different guys from the 337 are just supporting each other so much right now, and everybody's getting these great opportunities. Guys from so many different schools now have notable offers, and y'all are so quick to jump and show that love. How much does kind of hometown Lafayette 337 Acadiana area mean to you and the family and y'all's group that's coming through high school right now?
Well, it's just great to see that the area of Lafayette is getting recruited well again. They have guys like Sage Ryan, Malik Neighbors, Jack Bish, LT, Brylan, Jordan. They have guys that are getting some big time offers that I haven't seen in a while. So it's just a blessing to see the guys that work hard, those guys that I've been on since elementary school, or bringing Lafayette back on the map.
Who are some other guys? You mentioned a lot of the other guys that I keep in contact with. Who are some guys, whether under the radar guys in y'all's class here 2021 or upcoming 2022, or even some younger guys that are getting ready to come through that you think folks maybe don't know as much just yet, but need to sooner than later?
A guy that I can say is gonna have a great season this year My defensive line teammate, Walter Bob, he's going to be a junior this year in class of 2022. I feel like he's going to have a great year. He's been working hard. I feel like he's going to have some big time offers when it's all said and done. So that's a name that I feel like is definitely going to be up there this year.
Nice. You mentioned some of kind of what you look for from these colleges that have offered you thus far. As you and your family are trying to weigh some of these options, what are some of the key questions that you look for answers to from the college coaches, or some key factors that you and your family discuss as you start to kind of, I mean, you still have a little ways before you have to make a decision and sign later on this year, but I'm sure you're getting to a point where you're kind of trying to weigh some different things and compare and contrast a little bit.
Well, the biggest questions have been, academics, of course. I like to go to a place where I can pursue my major, which is preveterinary medicine. Also, a place where my family is comfortable with, also, a place where I can, grow mentally, physically, as well as spiritually. So that's just been the biggest, concerns with me as making a decision.
What drew you to pre-vet? What has made that stand out as a post-football career decision?
Well, growing up, I had a lot of dogs, so that just stuck with me, and I feel like not a lot of athletes or football players, they really, I don't really see them, do or become a vet. So it's something that I wanted to be different, try something out like that.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I always enjoy hearing kind of some of those different plans post football, and so I usually like to ask guys kind of what an intended major is, because I mean, shoot, I didn't know what I was going to major in when I was going to college, and so there's certainly no problem with not knowing when you get there. But some of y'all already have such big plans in line, and it's really cool to kind of hear some of those mindsets. And you mentioned the importance of academics, and vet school is no joke. I know a lot of people talk about med school and kind of the difficulty there. Veterinary school is a very serious piece of education. But you're a guy that has done very well academically, and you can see it in the offer list too, with the Princetons and Cornells and Dartmouth, Penn, Army, Navy, Air Force. Tell me a little bit more about that mindset, that background, and just sort of that determination and focus outside of football to be that true student athlete and prioritize education. Just kind of the foundations that are there for that for you.
Well, it's something that my parents always preached to me, that school comes first. I'm a student athlete first, so I've always just, the same amount of time and energy, mindset that I have on the football field, I have to obtain in the classroom. So that's just been the biggest thing for me.
How exciting has some of this recruiting process been for them too? Obviously, it's exciting for you to see those opportunities, but sometimes the family's even more excited than the athlete. What has it been like for them to see some of the college offers come into place here during this past year?
Well, they're very excited. It's their third son going through the recruiting process, so I guess they're kind of used to it now. But they're excited. They tell me that they're proud of me and stuff like that.
What kind of advice have you picked up from from having family that's gone through some of this? Obviously, Claude at a high level not too long ago. What advice have you been able to pick up from them about how to approach recruitment as a whole, and how to ultimately feel comfortable with a decision and make a decision?
Well, as far as my brothers, they just told me make the best decision that's for me. Make sure that instead of a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. I have to think of my future, as well as my wife, as well as my kids. So it's more about academics, rather than just football. So that's just one of the main things that they tell me.
And another cool thing for you, kind of, I guess, off topic of some of this is you had a chance to be interviewed by the Washington Post, which is not kind of the routine high school athlete experience. And so how was that for you to get a chance to be interviewed for one of the top newspapers in the country, talking about some of kind of how you guys have handled some of the coronavirus stuff, and to see your name in the Washington Post?
Well, it was a huge honor, honestly, to see that. But as far as that topic, I feel like it was very, intriguing because, you know, coaches, they select me to, speak on such a topic, about how we handle recruiting, how we handle practice and stuff like that. But, it was definitely a huge honor.
Awesome, man. What are you looking forward to here these next couple months, other than obviously figuring out how to get back to normal and get out there on some Friday nights as your senior year of school and football and the home stretch of the recruiting process winds up? What are some things on your calendar that you're excited for?
Well, as of right now, I'm excited to work out with the team, continue to get better, continue to get faster, stronger, and just get after it, continue to be a leader, and continue to be a positive influence, for the next guys coming up, and try to get another ring. That's all.
Yes, sir. Sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to watching the pursuit of all that as soon as we can actually get back to it. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to kind of talk about how everything's been going of late and what the plans are moving forward.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Thanks again. Again, he's Cameron George, standout at Acadiana, getting ready for that senior year with the Wreckin Rams, trying to go win another state championship in Class 5A, and also trying to sort through a great list of college scholarship offers and figure out what his move at the next level is going to be. For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.